Hello, technology and library students. So if you are watching this video, then you are probably ready to go ahead and create a Google Forms survey for all the folks that visit your website to fill out after they have visited your website. So by the end of this video, you're going to know how to create an effective Google Forms survey, and you're going to have also created your own survey. So let's jump into this. So when we create a survey, we really need to start asking ourselves, what type of information do we want to get? Do I want to get information about my actual project and how I could have made it better? Maybe my color scheme on my website's not that appealing or it's distracting. I haven't added enough information. I don't have enough photos or videos. Or maybe the type of information I'm trying to get is more curtailed towards getting information about my actual location. So, what activities do you think were the most appealing that I included on there? Or what do you think about the food choices that I included on there? Any of that type of stuff. Or maybe you just want to know, after visiting my website, are you more excited about possibly visiting this destination? You can basically ask anything you want. So, when we do surveys, and you've probably taken quite a few in your classes, sometimes we ask open ended questions. And what that is like short answer questions. So, you might have to fill in the blank or write a little paragraph or sentence to answer my question. Now, those are all good and well, and you get really, really good answers sometimes from your audience. But the bad thing about those type of questions is that it takes forever to sift through that information if there's 100 people taking your survey. So the most effective way to distribute a survey to a large group of people is by having them answer multiple choice questions, rank questions, drop down menu questions, or even linear scale questions. And I'll go into a little bit about that when we start developing the survey. So you want to provide the answers for them, and they are going to choose the answer. Because when you go back and look at the responses, it's going to be so much easier for you to see how everybody's responded to your survey. So to start a new survey, you're going to just open a new window and type form.new. So I started one over here. And if you click up in this area, you can go ahead and enter the name of your survey. I went ahead and called this Poland Vacation Survey. You can call it whatever you want, or you can call it your Vacation Exploration Project Survey, whatever you want to name it. Now, the form description. This goes back to what we talked about before. Are you going to be collecting information about the project itself and where you could have done a little better, or the weak spots? Or are you going to talk more? Are you trying to get more information about the actual location that you did a project on? Or maybe you just want to say, answer these questions below and provide me with some feedback regarding my project and my chosen destination. That way you could even include questions about both things. So once I've done that, I'm going to go up here to this little paint canvas right here. And this is where you can change the colors. If you want to make it blue, you can change the background color. You can go up here and choose an image. And they have a whole selection over here. If you want to upload your own image, or if you have one on your Chromebook already that you would like to include, you can do that. I'll choose that and just show you what it looks like. So there we go. And I think I'll change this to blue. And I'll just leave it like that. Oh, one other thing you can do, I'll go back up to the paint. You can also change the font style. I don't recommend decorative. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to read. Playful or basic seem like the most easy, even formal. I'm going to leave mine at playful. So now, once I've done this, I am going to go up here to settings, and I can collect email. If I check this box, I can collect email addresses of those that have filled out my survey, so I know exactly who has filled out my survey. I can send out response receipts. So what that means is if somebody fills out my survey, they'll get an email back, maybe saying thank you. I can click always if I want everybody to get one. And I can go down here and I can limit everybody to one response. Respondents can edit after they submit or see summary charts and text responses. I'm not going to click those. You can if you want. We're going to go over here to presentation. So I did click that I was going to send response receipts to everybody that fills it out. So maybe I just sent a confirmation message to everybody telling them thank you for filling out my vacation exploration project survey. And then I'm going to click save. So those are kind of your choice if you want to do that. Now I'm ready to add questions. So to add a question, I'm going to go ahead and click on this plus sign. And I have multiple choice questions, check boxes, drop-down menu, and linear scale are the ones that I'm going to focus on right now. So multiple choice. Maybe one good multiple choice question is, maybe I'm going to ask about the strength of my website. What aspect of my website did you think was most appealing? And maybe I want, it switched over to paragraph. I want to change it to multiple choice. And I'm going to talk about color schemes, descriptions of activities. Maybe I added some great photos or the layout. So I'm going to, then everybody that takes my survey will be able to choose one of these. So that is how you do a multiple choice question. So I'm going to require them to answer these questions before they're done with my survey. I highly recommend you add that. If you mess up and you need to delete it, you can click on this box right here, this trash can, and I'll get rid of it. Or if you put in a wrong answer and you want to remove it, you can click here as well. You can click those. You can also say, if you want to, maybe you want to give people the option to say none of these. Maybe they didn't like any of them. Or maybe you want to tell them all of these and they have that option. Or maybe you want to put I don't know because they don't know. It's your choice on how you want to do this. So I do recommend not giving too many options. One other thing to think about, if you want them to be able to choose more than one, maybe you don't want to go with multiple choice. Maybe you want to make this a checkbox. If you make it a checkbox, they can choose more than one. So that's also an option. If you only want them to pick one, you're going to pick multiple choice. If you want them to pick more than one, choose the checkbox. So that's a little bit about checkboxes and multiple choice. The difference with that, checkboxes, you can choose more than one. Multiple choice forces them to only answer one. So let's go ahead and add another question. Now I'm going to do a linear scale. So what this is going to do is I'm going to make people decide on a scale from 1 to 5 how they feel about something or how they view something. So maybe I want to say, after viewing my website on a scale from 1 to 5, how interested are you in visiting this location? Now, this is just an example of a question. So 1 is going to be no interest at all. because 1 is going to be the least, 5 is going to be the most. 5 is very interested. So that is how you do a linear scale question. You're going to ask them to gauge, and you don't have to do 1 to 5. Maybe you want to do 1 to 3. I don't recommend going any higher than 5, though, but you can change it from 1 to 3. So 1 would be no interest at all. 2 would be somewhat interested. 3 would be very interested. So that is a linear scale question. The next one you want to I want to look over is the drop-down menu. So an example of a drop-down menu question would be, which activity do you think is the least interesting on my website? So maybe I did a museum tour on the website. I talked about snorkeling, and I also talked about a hike in the mountains. So what this is going to do, it's going to give them a drop-down menu, and they have to pick one of these that they think is the least interesting. So I've given you some examples. You know how to do a checkbox question. You know how to do a multiple choice question. You know how to do a linear scale question, and you know how to do a drop-down question. So try to create a survey with at least 3 questions. Always remember to make this required as well. Can't remember if I did it up here. Nope, I want to make that required. So minimum of 3 questions, no more than 7, because you want to get the most accurate information as possible. And when you throw too many questions at your audience, they're going to fall asleep and not give you good data. So if you want to look at it when you're all done, if I say this is my survey, I'm going to go up here to the preview. And this is what they're going to see. So there's my 3 questions. Now, if I don't like it and I see that I made a mistake, I can go right over here to the pencil and I can edit the form. So if I'm happy with what it looks like, I can click the send button and click on this link. I'm going to copy the link, and then I can put it on my website. So there's a little bit of information about how to create an effective Google Forms survey where you're going to get the best and most accurate information, and how you're going to go ahead and create it in Google Forms. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me or Mr. Robo. We'd be happy to answer your questions. I look forward to see what you guys all create.